I'm Kausik Ray from Imperial College, London. I'm the principal investigator of the ORION-1 trial. And what we're presenting today is new data from ORION-1. We have previously shown that using an siRNA-based approach, a drug called inclisiran, reduces LDL cholesterol by about 53%. And you can achieve that with 2 injections on day 1 and day 90. And you maintain the reduction in LDL cholesterol. Everybody responds to the drug, such that at day 180, the waterfall plots show a fairly homogeneous response. Today, what we're showing is, because we know that it's not just LDL cholesterol that's important, it's actually the total number of atherogenic lipoproteins, i.e. ApoB100, and the total cholesterol content, i.e. non-HDL. So the question is, and these are the secondary endpoints, do you produce similar reductions? And we've seen reductions with monoclonal antibodies, and it gives us an idea of being able to compare them. So what we show today is that non-HDL cholesterol at day 180 is reduced with 2 injections by 46%. ApoB100 is reduced by 41%, and Lp(a) is reduced by 25%. If you look at individual responses, everybody responds to a reduction in inclisiran at day 180, with reductions in ApoB100 and in non-HDL. With respect to Lp(a), there's a little bit more variability. Now, one of the things that people have speculated about is that does reducing intracellular PCSK9, which is what this compound does it have any additional effects on ApoB production and VLDL production? So even though VLDL is reduced significantly by about 16%, what we don't see is anything over and above what we've seen with the monoclonals. So if you look at, for example, monoclonal data from Descartes, the proportional differences that you see, if you have an LDL reduction of 59%, you see non-HDL of around about 52%, you see ApoB changes of around about 46%, you see about a 28% reduction in Lp(a) and about a 20% reduction in VLDL. So we are proportionally, with this approach, very similar to what you see with a monoclonal. But the big difference here is the approach, the convenience of 2 injections and then 6 months apart. So what that basically means is that instead of, if you think that the liver is pouring out PCSK9, which destroys the LDL receptor in the life cycle of the LDL receptor, so you have to stand with a bucket every 2 weeks. When the bucket is filled, replace it. Here you're just switching off the tap. So it gives us a different approach, and it probably also means that as far as intracellular approaches are concerned, to reducing PCSK9, there isn't really going to be a clinically meaningful effect from this approach that is different from the monoclonals, probably other than the convenience, the sustainability of the reaction, and the fact that once you've injected the patient, you know it's there. You're not relying on the patient to take the medication. So where we've now moved to is, this is still an investigational compound. We've recruited 3,500 patients into the landmark phase 3 trials. So by Q4 2019, we'll be reporting these data from ORION 9, 10 and 11. And if they essentially show the safety that we've seen so far, and it looks highly safe, and the efficacy, this may be a treatment that becomes available in the subsequent 2 years, and we'll have to see obviously what the cost is, etc. But it gives us a third approach for our patients.